What's up, YouTube? I'm back with another Speedrun Showdown tournament video, this time for week 2 of the 8-week qualifier. For those who haven't seen my last video, the goal each week is to earn the fastest 25k time or the highest score possible within 20 minutes. The first stage will last 8 weeks. Each week, players earn points based on relative performance with eliminations starting week 3. And every week will be played on a randomly selected US state intersection guesser map, selected at the beginning of the week. The random state of the week this week was New York, which actually turned out to be pretty hard. I consider New York to be a state of extremes, as it's home to the most dense metropolitan area in the country, and also home to some really rural areas as well. So locating yourself in either environment requires very different skill sets. Competitors were really challenged this week, as we were trying to locate ourselves within like dense city grids in New York City, as well as rural country roads in upstate. So it was quite a challenge. I went into it with not too much practice, but I think I made it work, so I'm excited to share with y'all. Alright, so getting right into it, for the first round I was pretty disappointed to see that I had a really rural location, but in my practice rounds I had found that most rural locations in New York, you don't know if it's a bust or not until you've already dedicated altogether way too much time to them. And since this was the first round, I wanted to just kind of feel it out and just see. So I'm kind of just clicking along, looking for information right here. My general process that I adapted for New York, especially in upstate, I found that New York is a state in which I relied heavily on county roads, which is kind of weird because normally you don't. Intersections like this, where you have like an interstate junction, they're few and far between. Oh yeah, I almost missed the cities, but I have Brewster and Danbury. Yeah, so interstates like this are kind of hard to come by. So usually, yeah, I'm going for like state roads like that, like Highway 121, as well as looking for county roads because the county road signs have the counties on them, which you'll see more of later in this video. Right now, I'm just scanning, I'm looking, because Interstate 84 should be more than enough in 2 cities, Brewster, I think it was Danbury. The problem was I was quite nervous going into this, so it took me a little bit of scanning to find an interstate highway, which is kind of rough, but you know, it was a relatively good drop, and I was able to, I think, find the road pretty quick. Maybe I got confused. Hilltop? Oh, I think I was just not scanning down far enough, because here I am, I'm lining up the road, I look straight down and align the compass north. And there's Hilltop, yeah. So kind of tough, I could have just gone farther. Alright, so here we go, we have Rockaway and Bismarck. You can tell from the way those signs have like the thicker parts on the tops and bottoms, it's gonna be either New York City or Long Island, and then the 516 area code tells me that it is in fact Nassau County, which is the west end of Long Island, just bordering New York. And Rockaway too is a dead giveaway because Rockaway is like that that part of the area. It's just the name of it. So I didn't want to jump the gun and just start looking for Rockaway right away, so I decided to push forward a little bit, see a couple more street names, see if I could find a major intersection, and here it is. This was Peninsula, which is a pretty big street. So, and then panning, I found Lynbrook Village, and at that point I was like, okay, yeah, this should be enough. So I went back, double checked. When you're really nervous in these tournament sets, it's actually kind of hard to get information to stick. Usually you're tired from having just practiced a bunch, and your brain's kind of on overload. But yeah, so I was definitely on overload here, but I found Lynbrook, and then I found Peninsula relatively quickly, I believe. And there's Rockaway, yeah, and there's Peninsula. And oh, this is painful, I scrolled right past it. But yeah, I'm just reading around, looking for it. Scanning up, scanning up, scanning up, and there's Bismarck. Nice. Alright, on to the next, and this is the 3rd round out of 5. So I have to get every single one perfect, pretty much. That's my MO. And as I'm looking at this one looks a lot less promising. So here's one of those county roads I was talking about earlier. And here you can see it says Oneida County, which is in the northern part of New York, bordering the state's northernmost border, I think. Or it might be more inland. I think I might be confusing it with Oswego, but Anyway, yeah, there's Gore and Lee Valley. So Oneida County. Yep, and so you just gotta pick a random direction and go. And for some reason I felt that northwest was like a good direction, because I figured where I was oriented in the state I was bound to reach a more populous location. And here it does kind of look promising. It does look like I'm moving into a more densely populated area, but there's a lot of mobile homes and a lot of roads that I doubt would show up on the map. So I'm starting to get a little stressed. I'm not seeing any roads signs on the side of the road. I'm not seeing any sort of like really helpful information. Sometimes even trash cans can be super helpful, but I didn't see anything of that sort either. And then I come to this intersection and I started to just scan. I'm like, okay, well, I know where Oneida County is. Maybe, just maybe, I can find this Lee Highway road. But this proved to be a pretty bad strategy, as you're about to see. Scanning for tiny roads like this in rural America is never good. Even if you know it's like the state road is numbered 62 or 64, you have to zoom in really, really far to see the state road, which I'm probably about to do. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and I'm not seeing it. So the little circle ones are the state roads, and the little square ones are the counties. So I'm not even sure if yeah, I had to zoom in that far to see that it was County Road 32. So definitely not a great strategy. Panning like this, it's really hard to keep track of where you are. You might not even, you could like be looking in a completely different area from just dragging, well, super zoomed in. Yeah, see, I was already over in Syracuse. So I'm looking. And I think this is the nerves playing a role too, because really at this point, the ideal thing is if you can't find it just based off of like scanning that far ahead north, you might as well just go back to the start and then go in the opposite direction and go like southeast, you know, if northwest wasn't working out. So not a super big fan of this strategy that I employed, but also, I mean, it's tournament, the nerves are full speed, so it's tough. So at this point, I'm just kind of pushing forward. I can tell I'm getting really frustrated. I'm trying to lock in, but I know that I had a pretty good time from those first two locations, and I'm kind of watching myself torch it right now, so kind of feels bad. Yeah, I'm going in the opposite direction, and I'm still not seeing anything, just more trees and houses, and that's pretty much it. I'm just looking for anything like a state road sign, anything a little more helpful than a county road sign, or even better, a name of a city or town or something, you know, because Oneida is not very dense. So if it had like a Oneida, I'm realizing I don't know how to pronounce that, but if I had like a town name, I could probably see it from the map, just because there's not that much around it. And so I think here I got frustrated, and you could see Lee right there if I had just kind of looked north of there. So what I'm doing now is I'm resetting the seed so that I can start over again. Yep, I'd been reaching for that Red Bull, thinking about it. Okay, so here we go, first drop. Junction 12, State Street in Washington, and then over there we see the 220 West. So all of a sudden I have information. Like instantly, this is a better seed for me so far. So I'm looking around, I see Canal, I see West, East, 220, I see Guilford, Norwich, Green. Nice. So I look at where I remember Greene County to be on the map. Pretty rural area as well, Greene County. So I'm not seeing too much. I'm looking back and I'm remembering that I don't have to look for just city names, I can also look for the road numbers. So I start scanning for the road numbers. Alright. Looks like that's it. Oxford. I found the intersection of the two highways.
Thank you.
Nice. And there it is. Almost missed Blanc, but we got it down in time. Okay, so for this round, I just see Tool House, something about trucks and buses, and then I'm on the highway US 20A. So immediately I'm pretty pleased because I remembered exactly where the 20A is from my practice rounds. It's a auxiliary route to the US 20, which is a national road, which are like the easiest ones to find. East Hill Motel, some sunset coverage, and then bam, welcome to Warsaw. So I know I'm on the 20A, and I'm in a town called Warsaw. So I find 20, here's 20A, keep scrolling down. Lakeville, Genocide, and there's Warsaw. And this should have been over and done with, but here's another example of nerves wrecking an otherwise great run. Because oh my god, why am I looking so far to the east? Like I don't know. I don't know. But you have this road right here. You have this curve up ahead. And this road that shoots off. So I'm looking for Tool House. I'm lining it up. And I'm not seeing a road shooting off at that angle anywhere. I'm looking in Warsaw, north of Warsaw. I looked straight at it and went right past it. Brutal. There, village of Warsaw, and I'm like, okay, so I must be really, really close to the town border. And there's 20A in Minor. And I was like, let's see. I'm like, oh, here's a curve. I'm like, oh, there's Tool House. Dang it. Yeah, I'm laughing at myself there. So here's round 3 out of 5. Stanton Hill, North Street. I'm moving around trying to read it better. Road kind of curves off to the northeast there. I go up, I'm not seeing anything, and then I'm looking back and I'm like, this looks like a little town this way. So make sure it says Stanton Hill. Okay. Line up the road. I don't know why I lined up the road before I go find clues, but that's something that I was into doing at that time, I guess. Okay, so Fort Salem. We have what appears to be a place name. And now I continue looking for highway signs and the like. And then I see the county roads. Washington County, 153 and 30. Awesome. And then Main Street and Broadway, even better. So I can pinpoint this pretty effectively knowing I'm in Salem in Washington County. And there's even a sign for Salem, but look. I move ahead and the sign's taken down and I see Bancroft Public Library. All of a sudden I'm like, oh, what if this place is called Bancroft? And so never mind that you can see Salem right there on the map. I'm looking for the word Bancroft. And I'm even looking at the Highway 22. So definitely pretty hard going back and watching this, but you know, hindsight's 50/50, or hindsight is 20/20. There we go. That's what they say. Yeah, so I'm scanning around Main Street, Broadway. Pushing forward a little bit more. South 22, White Creek. I'm like, well, Washington County's not that big, so I must be able to find the 22 South in Washington County somewhere. I'm like, there it is. I'm like, oh, Salem, nice. I'm trying to remember, like, okay, so that's the middle of town. I had to go back to the start because I was sweating it. And there it is. All right, fine, great. South Perry, West Clinton. So the doozy here is that the first time that I was running through this, I was under the impression that this was the 5th and final location. I don't know why. Oh, 518. Okay, there we go. So we have the 518 area code. That's the northeastern part of the state again. So we're in someplace called Johnstown. Right.
5 minutes remaining.
Thank you. East Main and something. Oh, Perry. That's right. East Main and Perry. So here we go. Historic Johnstown. So again, I have a place name. I have a cute little downtown, 518. So not too far from the last place that I was just at. And then moving forward again. I'm not seeing any sort of highway signs, so I'm starting to get a little stressed, but then bam, 67 and 29. I didn't even have to go back and check. I saw it and I had it. So 67 and 29. Just start scanning. And again, you can see 29. There it is. There's Johnstown. I found it pretty quick. So I remembered I was on Perry Street, and I look up north, and I remember, wait, I had actually traveled north. West Clinton, East Clinton, bam. And then I thought I was done, and then I loaded it into a new location. I'm like, wait, what? And then I realized, oh my god, I actually had one more. And so I had breathed this huge sigh of relief, and I actually wasn't out of it yet. So Quinton and Merchants. Winton, you know, so we're getting place names, we're getting all sorts of stuff. North Winton, Elm. Had I played a little bit more of this map before going into tournament, I probably would have recognized those brown signs as like a Rochester thing, but you know, brown and white, green and white, and blue and white all together was pretty disorienting for me at the time, so I'm like trying to figure out where this is. North Winton, never heard of it. I fear, had I looked at that daily deals sign on the side of that building for the Salvatore's Pizzeria, I might have been able to see that that sweet Rochester area code. Yeah, spoilers, it's Rochester, but I got something better. I got this. Rochester Public Library, Winton branch. So we're in North Winton area on Merchants and Quinton, but for some reason I needed to confirm. I don't know, I was spacing out, so the words were not sticking in my mind, I think. And bam, you can see North Winton right there, and I scroll right over it. Absolutely brutal. But on my second go around, I caught it, yeah. So I'm looking, I see Winton, Merchants, nice. And then I had to go back because I forgot the name of the street. I was like, ah yes, Merchants and Quinton. So I'm looking. I have to line up the road, and there it is, Quinton, and that's the end. And I'm just relieved at this point because that means I got 25k. So it's pretty good. Had a couple minutes left, so wanted to just try to use the rest of my time effectively. This is New York City. Finally got New York City. I put in so much time grinding New York City, and then it didn't even end up mattering in the end. But yeah, so I see I'm on East 164th Street, which makes me think I'm in the Bronx. So I found 163rd Street, but the angle's not lining up. So I'm panning 164th Street and River Ave. I was fried. I was frazzled at this point. Tournament nerves are quite tough. So I just plonked it. I was right, it wasn't the Bronx. I was like, okay, whatever, starting over. I don't know why I did that, but you know, I start over and I'm looking at these locations. I get a county road.
There's 1 minute remaining.
Thank you. What secrets do you hold? County road, Suffolk County. Nice, 97. So we know Suffolk County is the east end of Long Island, but I just gave it up at this point. I think I had something like 53 seconds left, so
I think I'm good to call it.
yeah. At that point, I was comfortable just calling it, and
Yeah.
that was
Oh my
the end. All right, and there you have it. That's my New York run. I know I said it a couple times in the video, but I definitely had a frustrating set of circumstances as far as my computer being laggy and nerves, but overall, I'm really pleased with the fact that despite that, I was able to perform somewhat decently, and I was really happy with the fact that I pulled through. I attribute part of it to getting a really decent seed on that second run, but also just being able to keep cool under pressure. It's a new thing for me, so I've never played in a Geoguessr tournament before, and I don't know, I feel like I'm slowly building my confidence. We'll see how the next couple weeks go. I'm very excited to see what they have in store. So here's the stat sheet for the week. As you can see, I scored 12th place overall with a score of 25,000 in 8 minutes 55 seconds, giving me a percentile rank of 76th and awarding me 9 points. So as you can see, everybody in that little bracket scored 9 points. So what that means for me overall is it puts me solidly in a 5-way tie for 6th place, each of us having 24 points overall. So I had 15 points last week, and I scored 9 this week, holding down that 6th spot. The only reason I'm at the top is because it's alphabetically ordered. But yeah, feels pretty good. And if I am able to get even an average placement for next week, I should be able to maintain a decent placement and dodge elimination, at least for the first week. So yeah, we'll see how far I can get. I'm really excited. I'm having a lot of fun. And yeah, we'll see what next week has in store. If you made it this far, just want to say thanks again for watching. It really means a lot. If you have any sort of feedback, it would be greatly appreciated. Feel free to leave a comment. I'm really having fun with this video making process, so I'm really excited to play out the rest of my weeks and share it with you guys. Let me know what you think. Have a good one.